Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today let's build in Dinkum. Today we are going to be building a freeway slash highway to connect our town of Calliope to our coastal quarry town of Cassiopeia. Now I started out just by initially trying to figure out how far apart I wanted my road to be. I did end up going with 5 spaces wide so that I could have 2 on each side to make it look like the road was actually down the center. So I know everybody says the rule of thumb is like between 6 and 7 spaces wide. I found a good medium with 5. So that's what we are doing here. We are just clearing out all of this space that we're going to need in order to make this happen. I kid you not. I spent about 3 hours doing this. So to get it condensed down to the time it took me to make this video after all the editing, it was such a labor of love. It took me 2 days to edit this video just because there was so much footage that I had to get through and so much that I had to pare down so that it didn't seem like completely overwhelming for everybody. So we are in the home stretch, I think. I want to do this all over my island actually because I want to break it up into we have the main island of Calliope, and then we have the coastal quarry town of Cassiopeia. So then I want to break it off into like little sections that way, because I found that that's the easiest way to approach just the mammoth size of a map that we get in this game. So it worked out better for me that way, to kind of segment it and to kind of think of it as like little provinces and little towns that I was going to connect with highways and freeways, and that way each town is its own thing. And so I think it's a really efficient, and actually it's a really cute way to approach Dinkum, is if you want to do like smaller little towns, but really it offers so much in the way of creativity. Like you can do almost anything, and it was never meant to be a decorating game, but then all of us cozy gamer creators got our hands on it and we're like, oh, we can do this, we can do that, we can decorate this way. And so it's almost like James is trying to play catch up with us and to sort of implement things that we enjoy as content creators and cozy decorators, which almost seems like that's what most of the updates have been thus far, is just trying to put items in the game that are more decorative for us to work with, and I absolutely love that. So I didn't math very well, so I had to take away 1 square on each side just so that I can make this 2x2 and make it a full 5 spaces. And then that actually worked out really nicely in terms of getting the lines to sort of match up the way that I wanted them to. And then we start to work on the perimeter, right? I tested out a couple of different fencing options just to kind of see what would be like a good barrier between the water element and the land element. And ultimately this was one of them that I enjoyed, but I think afterwards I went with the iron and cement fencing, which kind of has the little spikes in it, because I thought that one just provided a little bit more of a visual interest for what we were going with. And then we did a 4x4 square roundup to act as kind of our entrance into this new part of the island. It's not the entrance necessarily to the city, because the city isn't. The city's back a little bit more. The new town is back a little more. And I tell you, I had a heck of a time getting this bridge to line up the way that I wanted it to create that arch. And here's a good tip. If you're going to do this, make sure that you already extend your pathing underneath it before you place it, because you're not going to be able to place it under it once you do it. So if you have an idea of where it's going, build it up first. Don't put the bridge there and keep going with like your road or your path or whatever, because you're going to have to end up taking it down just to put it back again. So learn from my mistakes. And I absolutely love using these iron signs. Now leaving Calliope, I even have some that say next town 2 miles. So I'm really bringing it home with the city theme. And so those are some of the things that you would find on like a freeway or an interstate, right? Is you would definitely find signage for the town that you're approaching. And so that's a good thing to keep in mind too. Just, it doesn't necessarily have to be completely accurate, but it does add to the illusion of what you're trying to accomplish. And so then I wanted something eye-catching on the sides as you're kind of driving down, just to kind of add a little bit more nature, and not have it be so overwhelmingly city. So we wanted to add some waterfalls and some type of water feature, because as you guys know, it's not an island of mine no matter what I'm playing. It's not anything of mine if there's not a water feature somewhere where it probably shouldn't be. That much we know, right? So then I got to thinking, what more greenery could we add? So then I went and I found some apple trees, and I went and I found some more bushes, just to kind of add the greenery and add the nature, because I think that is truly important when trying to bring a design together. And that's what I mean by cohesive, is something that is, it envelops all of those elements, right? It includes some nature. It includes something a little more man-made. It can include flowers, foliage. It can include a lot of different things. And so when you hear people talk about a cohesive design, it includes all of those elements. And so I liked the way I did it on this side, so I really wanted to attempt it on the other side. So I really at first wasn't going for symmetry, but it kind of ended up that way. And of course I'm using a mod here to be able to transfer the trees without actually cutting them down and having to wait for them to grow, or using a dev command to change the days. So then I wanted to kind of keep with that natural element. And so I thought the sides of the roads were kind of missing something green. So we went ahead and we built this up, and we're going to be adding some hedges, because I think hedges are kind of it's not really a cure-all, but it's definitely, when you're not sure what to put somewhere, put hedges. Because hedges can cure a lot of ails, right? And so it adds a little pop of green, and it also connects the land with the sea kind of thing. Like it connects the entirety of the freeway to the rest of this particular section of the island. So your eye just kind of flows all the way through, and it gives you something to look at on that long drive from Calliope to Cassiopeia. And, again, it's that visual interest that you're trying to create. And now you don't have to use hedges. You can definitely take this opportunity to definitely do flowers. You can do, what I actually ended up doing after the video was I actually put the iron and cement fencing down a level so that it was just barely above the water. And so that, again, added a little bit more of a visual interest. And so here I am trying to do symmetry in the dark. So I don't recommend trying to do symmetry in the dark because you can't see what you're doing. And you just totally get discombobulated, and things just don't seem to pan out the same way. You're going to miss something for sure if you try to do it in the dark. So you see me kind of going back and forth a couple of times, just making sure that I have sort of the same elements, and the same height and the same kind of idea mirrored on both sides. And that really is the beauty of symmetry, really, is you can try to mirror it as best you can on both sides, but you're not always going to get lucky. And I really like the fairy lights. I just think at night especially, they give off so much radiance and just so much beauty. They are just a great item. And these jacaranda trees, especially in like spring, I believe it is. It might even be in summer, but they're purple. And so they're so cute. And they just add a lot of visual interest. And, having trees, I think, on our way to a coastal town, we're going to see a lot more trees, and we're going to see a lot more of that visual that we're really wanting. So I wanted to add a little bit of an entryway to the sort of on-ramp, if you will, of the freeway. I ended up changing this quite a few times. I realized it was going the wrong way, so I built it out one extra space going to the left instead of trying to enclose it to the right. And then putting the arches back on the top, I think added a lot of cool interest. And of course, we have to drive it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.